Welcome back. The president has started those remarks in Georgia, but this event is supposed to be focused on his domestic agenda, attempting to do what he believes his party hasn't done, which is sell his accomplishments, particularly on the economy, ahead of November's midterm elections. Here's a look at some of the president's past frustrations on that.
I'm not blaming anybody. I think I blame ourselves. I think we've done a much better job than we're able to promote. We're not promoting. We're doing a great job, and we're sort of letting the promotion take care of itself. I think we do a phenomenal job, but I don't think we're good at public relations.
What does that mean? You've said that a couple times now. What do you mean by that?
We don't sell the great job that we're doing. We have to get the word out, okay? If we can get the word out, we should win.
And as we noted earlier, President Trump is in the state's 14th congressional district, which is formerly represented by Marjorie Taylor Greene, who went from being one of the president's most strident supporters to one of his most vocal critics within the Republican Party before she stepped down in January. Now, early voting is underway there in a very crowded race to potentially replace her. And the president has thrown his support behind District Attorney Clayton Fuller, appearing with him just moments ago. NBC's Steve Kornacki has more on that race.
Behold the ballot. Georgia's 14th congressional district special election, March 10th, to fill Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat here. Now, look, you got to figure out who you want to vote for in this race. There's 22 candidates. Your next challenge, you show up on Election Day, you got to find the name on this ballot. As I say, 22 candidates overall. And by the way, you have got Republicans, you've got Democrats, you've got independents, you've got libertarians on this ballot. This is a free-for-all. Everybody who's interested in having this seat appears on the same ballot. If nobody gets an outright majority, 50% plus one in that March 10th preliminary, there's going to be a runoff in April. Top two candidates, regardless of party. It could be two Republicans, could be a Democrat and a Republican, whoever the top two are. Now, for all the crowded nature of this primary, the expectation here is that this really may be between two candidates primarily. Clayton Fuller is one of them. And if that name doesn't mean anything to you outside of the district, well, maybe this will. He's got the endorsement of Donald Trump. And then Colton Moore is expected to be his main opponent here. Moore, a former state legislator. He was a staunch ally of Trump, especially after the 2020 election, all of Trump's claims about Georgia. Moore is a very Trump-like candidate in terms of his positions, his rhetoric, but he doesn't have Trump's endorsement. So what is going to give there between the two? Third name here, Sean Harris. He's a Democrat. He was the Democrat who ran in this district against Greene in 2024. If he could unite the Democratic votes in this district behind him in the preliminary, he certainly could make it into that runoff. But could he actually win in a runoff in a district like this? Let me just put this in some perspective, what Georgia 14 is like. These are all the other special House elections that we've seen since Trump came back to the White House. We'll add Georgia 14 to the list right here. And this is the column. What's the terrain like? What was the 2024 presidential result like in all these districts? Well, you could see what it was in all the other ones. In Georgia 14, Trump won it by 37 points. So one of the stories we've been tracking in these special elections is that the Democrats have sort of been overperforming in all of them relative to 2024, but they're doing, 15 points better, maybe 20 points better than in the 2024 election. They would have to go 37 points better to have a shot in Georgia 14. So maybe the Democrats could overperform here if they could get into that runoff against one of these Republicans. But I think realistically, you're looking at that race between the Trump ally who doesn't have Trump's endorsement and the candidate who does have Trump's endorsement. Let's see what happens between them March 10th and then maybe on to an April runoff.
Let's see what happens, Steve. Thanks so much.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.